Thousands of years ago, people came to this valley in southeastern Kazakhstan. They carved animals, hunters and mysterious figures into the rocks. This is Tamgaly. And centuries later, another culture returned to the same sacred landscape, the Saka. The Saka were nomadic peoples of the ancient Eurasian steppe. They lived by horses, hunting, trade and warfare. They left few written records of their own, so most of their story comes from what archaeologists find underground. The Saka buried their elite beneath enormous mounds called kurgans. At Beshhadir, dozens of monumental burial mounds still dominate the landscape. Inside were weapons, vessels, clothing, horses and gold. Then came one of Kazakhstan's greatest archaeological discoveries, the Issyk kurgan. Inside, archaeologists found thousands of gold objects and an extraordinary ceremonial costume. At its center was a tall pointed golden headdress. Today, we call this figure the Golden Man, but the Golden Man wasn't a statue. He was a real person, someone who walked these steppes, rode horses and lived among his people. Every gold plaque on his clothing tells us something about the world he belonged to. Look closely at Saka gold. Deer, horses, birds, predators, strange mythical creatures. This became known as the animal style. It appears across huge areas of the ancient steppe, but what every symbol meant remains uncertain. Then there is Berel, in the Kazakh Altai. Archaeologists discovered elite burials with richly decorated horses. Some horses were buried wearing elaborate ceremonial equipment. Cold conditions even preserved wood, leather and textiles. Suddenly, the Saka world becomes almost tangible. The Saka weren't just warriors and buried kings. They were families. They raised children, made clothing, worked leather, cooked food, trained horses, and moved across the enormous steppe. Their world was built around mobility. And then we return to Tamgaly. Different generations came here for thousands of years. They carved new images beside older ones. The landscape itself seems to have remained sacred. We know what the Saka left behind: gold, weapons, horses, kurgans, petroglyphs, but almost none of their own written history survived. We can see their world, but we cannot hear their voice. The Golden Man gives us a face. The kurgans reveal their status. The animals reveal their symbols, but the Saka themselves remain partly hidden. Perhaps that is the greatest mystery. Not where they went, but how much of their world is still buried beneath the Kazakh steppe.